Hey guys, this is Emmanuel, your emotion code practitioner out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm going to talk about something pretty sensitive subject, and I'm inviting the trolls to come out of their woodworks, but I want to talk about 5 reasons why you're still in a toxic relationship. And I know one of you guys out there, or you have a friend that would definitely appreciate this message. But guess what? You've called them, you spoke to them for hours just saying, hey, listen, I don't know why you're with that guy again, or vice versa. I don't know why you're with this girl. Why do you keep, she keeps treating, okay. If you're that friend, you need to tag that person and tell them, hey, there's a video that talks about it in a sort of holistic, energetic way of why you're still in your relationship. Please just listen to him, please. And so let's save some people today. Let's share this video. Let's get this video to go viral, because the reality is that what you don't know will hurt you. I'll say that again. What you don't know will hurt you. And I believe we focus on things we know we don't know, but we avoid that 80% of us, that 80% that we don't know. And here's another thing too, is we're scared of the word change. Our subconscious wants to keep us safe. So change is very, very scary. And so I'm going to talk about 5 reasons why, maybe if I'm talking to you or maybe your friend, why we are stuck in this toxic relationship. So I'm going to mention to you later on what an emotion code practitioner is and our practice coding alternative, but I just want to get straight to the point. So if you're taking notes, here we go. Number 1, there's this concept of nature abhors a vacuum. Okay, so write this down. Number 1, nature abhors a vacuum. What does that mean? It was a concept that Bob Proctor elaborated on You Were Born Rich. And this is not energy healing yet, but we're about to go into the energetic level. But watch. So it talks about how the aunt of Bob Proctor had to move furniture out of the room to make to bring in new furniture. It sounds like a very simple concept, but trust me, all y'all, and we are all suffering from this issue where we believe, why do we keep things? Why do we hoard things? You probably have friends that hoard things. You probably have a closet full of things. If you have a husband, for example, who has all these clothes and he doesn't really wear those clothes, or he has that fishing shoes that you're like, he's like, honey, I'm going to go fishing soon, but he hasn't fished for 15 years, but he still keeps there just in case, right? Well, there's a reason behind that, because subconsciously he believes he can't get something better, so he keeps what he has. Okay, let me say that again. He believes in his mind that he or she can't get something better, so they can only resort to what they have. That's one of the number 1 reasons why you are still in a toxic relationship, is because you have questioned yourself, that you can actually find somebody of intrinsic value. And so here's another thing too. But then you're like, but what if I even start thinking to myself, I can get better, I can get something better? Well, in the emotion code and body code, which we'll talk about kind of more specifically, there's a thing called a memory field. A memory field, I want you guys to picture this cloud in front of your head. And this cloud could be full of just memories in general. It could be full of certain events, or it could be similar types of events. And so this one, for example, what if you have in your memory field all the times that you tried to go into a new relationship and it didn't work? Or what about you put love into something, like not even someone, but something, and it didn't work? That's still putting love out there to a project, to a business, but it didn't work. So then you in your subconscious, you're saying, anytime I put love out there, it's like a boomerang that never comes back. See, that could be this memory field you have, and I can find those in the emotion code or body code, in the body code specifically. And so what's interesting, we have to remove that. There's a process to remove this cloud from above you, and so that way you don't have that. And so when you're looking at this new person, this relationship you have, you're like, well, if I look back into my cloud, seems like every time I reach out, it doesn't work out. So I'm going to stick with this person. That's number 1, is that in order for to receive something new, you need to release the old. But a memory field may be harming you. I'm going to be talking to you guys in a more bioenergetic emotion code field. Number 2, we have these things called trapped emotions. What's a trapped emotion? Well, if I were to walk up to you and ask you that question, say, do you have trapped emotions? And I were to push down your arms, your arm would be strong. You'd be like, well, I've never even heard the word trapped emotions. What are they? Well, your subconscious knows what they are. For example, do you know every single organ and cell what they're doing right now? No. But they're doing it. There's literally trillions of things happening in your body right now automatically without you consciously thinking of it. If you had to consciously think of every single thing your body's doing right now, your brain would just explode. So that your subconscious is powerful, really powerful. In fact, it's monitoring everything right now, your heartbeat, your air, where the cells are going, where the white blood cells are going. So that's what we touch into. We tap into that. So if you were to ask your body, do you have trapped emotions? Your body would be like, yeah, I know exactly what that is. Your conscious mind has no idea. But trapped emotions are when you feel an overcharged emotion, let's say deep sadness, deep anger, deep resentment, like some type of deep concentrated emotion. And it gets these energies the size of a tennis ball or cantaloupe. You're supposed to kind of process it through your body, but instead of processing, it gets stuck. Here are some trapped emotions you could have. There's about 60 of them, and one of them is unworthy. Another one is worthless. Another one is low self-esteem. These are all low frequency energies stuck in your body. The question is, whoever you are, is how many of these do you have? How many times strongly have you felt unworthy, worthless, or you questioned your value? And so the second reason why is trapped emotions are keeping you in this relationship, because there are things in your past that you have felt unworthy, worthless, low self-esteem. And what does that mean? It's a revolving door. It makes you what they call reactive, and it makes you easily feel these emotions over and over and over again. It's like a groundhog day of something you experienced a long time ago. Now, what if you're like, I grew up amazing, Emmanuel. I had the most amazing childhood, which, by the way, you're rare. You might as well be a lemming at this point. But what you could do is maybe perhaps you received it in the womb. They're called prenatal trapped emotions. So your mother can actually influence the trapped emotions that you're affected by whatever roller coaster she's on. If it's bumpy, you have a bumpy womb roller coaster emotion code ride where you're receiving these trapped emotions in your body, and you come out of the womb feeling certain, you actually have these certain trapped emotions that your mother experienced, not yourself. Or we can even get even deeper. You actually have, according to the 2015 Scientific American, it talks about how these like people that were suffering with in the Holocaust, that their great grandkids are having PTSD, depression, anxiety. And these are, again, low frequency. But what if they had unworthy to live a good life because they're stuck there? What if they feel worthless because while they were in the concentration camps, they made them feel worthless? Or what if they felt low self-esteem? I can't add value if I'm stuck here. I can't move. And that's being passed down to you. And you always felt like, man, I always question myself. I don't know why. But then you attract people with low frequency too, which we're going to get to right away. So those are 3 different ways. You could have received it yourself, this trapped emotion. You could have had it in the womb, and you could have had it inherited. So that's another thing. That's number 2. So trapped emotions could be keeping you in a relationship, because if you're with this person and you're having these, you're going through some rough times, boom, unworthy shows up, worthless, low self-esteem. You were just about to close the door on them, and then no, you're stuck back here. And those energies tell you, yes, that's exact. You're going to keep feeling these over and over and over again. We know how to release those using the emotion code. So number 3, I always used to have the saying that says, if you don't release your own demons, you'll fall in love with one. Okay, I'll say it again. If you don't release the demons inside of you, your own demons, you will fall in love with one. And I used to think metaphorically, okay, I get it. You're obviously not going to date a demon, but basically someone who has, if you have a lot of trapped emotion, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of hard things that happen in your life, you will attract someone very, very similar, because you guys won't poke at each other, because you're like, I've been there, you've been there. Okay. So, and then you guys might think, well, demons, I mean, come on. Well, Matthew chapter 8, verse 28 to 34, it talks about a demon, a person who was possessed, and his name was Legion, if you guys remember. So if you're a Christian, hopefully you're still following with me. If you're not, then it's okay. You don't have to believe in it for it to exist. You don't have to believe in the Son to receive the benefits of it. It's very similar. So in regards to this, one of the things that's in the body code that was surprising to me, which is I believe is the most advanced healing system, were entities. There were just entities, maybe spirits that have maybe crossed over. And there's also demons that they'll never have a body. They will never have a body ever. So they never had one, they'll never have one, and they're just basically disrupting our growth, right? And so I've seen some clients that I've worked with that their subconscious realize that there's an entity or something with them. Now, what does that mean? Well, these things cause havoc in relationships. And, they disembodied spirits specifically like the pleasures of the flesh. So again, there may be something where, you're connected only to this person for pleasures of the flesh, but you don't even know if that's really who you are. You've resorted to just sort of a sexual relationship with someone, and you're like, well, this is good, but you don't even know if it's you, because if you have a lot of stuff that you're dealing with, you may have this disembodied spirit working through you, and that'll keep you stuck in a relationship, because the greatest thing that spirits and demons could do, they love it when you suffer. They just love it. That's like they'll never have a family. Especially these demons, they'll never have a family. They'll never have a parent. They'll never know what it is to get married. They'll never know. So any type of disruption of that unit, they're all about it. So again, it's one of the third reason is, are you releasing your own demons? And here's the interesting part I want to tell you guys. What are attracting these sort of entities into your life? Well, low frequency energy. What are low frequency energies? Trapped emotions. It all comes back down to there's actually certain things that you have inside of yourself, energies that attract this type of entities to you. One of the big ones that I found in 3 people just in the last week is self-abuse. If you're really, really hard on yourself, hey, those spirits or those entities, they love that. And so again, they could be disrupting your relationship, but they could also be keeping you in there. They don't want you to leave because they're like, that's where you're hard on yourself. You attract more self-abuse into your life. So there could be an external force that would like you to stay in this relationship because you're slowly killing yourself. And so that's number 3. Okay, number 4. And let's see, heart wall. So for those of you guys who don't know, what is a heart wall? Basically, it's one of the greatest discoveries in energy healing. You basically have this, if you guys ever felt this like pain in your heart, or you felt this discomfort, or your heart feels heavy, well, those are symptoms of what could happen if you have a broken heart. You can die of what they call a broken heart syndrome, which is basically the tendons that inside your heart are getting stretched, and your heart's about to collapse. And so it's a real thing. I mean, I just posted a video recently with Mayo Clinic, a cardiologist doctor, talking about how this is a real thing, that your heart is affected by emotional trauma, physical, sexual trauma, passing away of someone, divorce, all these things where your heart felt pain. You guys don't know, but you're actually, there's this, your subconscious actually has a protection factor where it basically puts in an energy, a trapped emotion over the heart, and it covers it like an onion, like layers and layers and layers and layers. And what happens is one of the 3 out of the 5, one of the third sort of symptom of it, there's 5 of them. Number 1 is low energy, lack of immune system. Number 2, indecisiveness of your mission, this fog about what you're supposed to do in life. Number 3 is desensitized heart. We're going to go back to number 3. Number 4 is your love communication gets twisted, and so people hear something different from what you say. Big reason for miscommunication. And number 5 is abundance. So these are all the symptoms of the heart wall. And a lot of people are dealing with these, and they have no idea that it has to do with your body trying to protect itself from emotional trauma from your heart. But then it starts sabotaging you in those 5 different areas. But let's talk about number 3. Number 3 is desensitized heart. Guess what happens? That means a numb heart. That means you can take a what? A beating. So what happens if you're in a very abusive relationship, or this person beats you emotionally, physically, or sexually, you will stay in that relationship, because what will happen is your heart will feel pain. It'll happen one night. Maybe you guys are familiar with it. Your heart feels pain, but it doesn't last long. It lasts for an hour, 2 hours, or you sleep it off and you wake up and you're like, hey, my heart doesn't hurt. Wasn't that bad? What you don't realize is that, according to this theory, there's an energy field that went over your heart, and it makes you even more numb. Actually makes you closer to depression, anxiety, and PTSD symptoms, or other emotional disorders. So it's growing, it's growing, it's growing. So you come back to the toxic relationship because you're like, that wasn't that bad. But then every time you do it, you're getting more numb and more numb. And as you get more numb, guess what? You could take more hits. Maybe your heart doesn't hurt that much anymore when he's hitting you. And that's, again, the person who keeps going back to toxic relationship, it's a heart wall problem. This person is a professional heart wall builder. And so that's number 4. You may have a heart wall. And then also what comes out of that is this thing called AHE, which means it's addictive heart energy. And so you may be like, oh, I have a very addictive personality. You know those people say, don't give me anything I might be addicted to very soon. That's actually very common. If you have a very thick heart wall, you actually come up, your body comes up with this energy called AHE, which means you're looking for things to supplement your heart because you are not receiving love in some areas of your life. That should be a clue right there that if you're starting to develop an addictive personality, or you're obsessed with your business, or you're upset, like, it's okay to be obsessed, but when you're overly obsessed, where your friends are going like, whoa, you are just way too intense, there's a reason for that. You have a AHE, addictive heart energy, and it's compensating for the fact that you don't feel much. But the question is, what's making you not feel much? is it this relationship that's very, very toxic that you need to remove from your life? Either they need to fix themselves up, or they need to remove their heart wall, or do something, or you're gonna have to just hit the road, Jack. So that's number 4. And the last one is, it's called a cord. So we actually have these energetic cords that you connect with people, and so basically when you do that, there's it's basically very binding. Let's say like a relationship where it was very bad, it was very abusive, and then he wanted to like still continue kind of you being in his life, but you're like, I want to disconnect. Did you know that there's an energetic cord connected with you and him, and I can muscle test it, find it. And what's interesting is that if it was a very healthy relationship, it would go from heart to heart. It's very typical. So sometimes I would muscle test it from a distance. If you're far away, I'd be like, oh, it's a heart to heart. It's a good one. But sometimes it says, no, it's not. It goes brain to brain. What does it mean? Brain to brain means they're there with you for the intellectual side of you, perhaps, but not for the whole completeness of you. If it goes from sexual organ to sexual organ, it's a relationship where you would only resort to the sexual side of it to keep going. Other than that, there's no other type of connection. It's kind of like someone had the wrong intentions or ill feelings. So we're like, this is just going to go to a lower level of just sexual relationship. Then that goes from sexual organ to sexual organ. And the most common one is gut to gut, which is basically very toxic. What's in the gut area? Well, I don't know, trapped emotions of abandonment, betrayal, lost, love unreceived, forlorn, effort unreceived, heartache, insecurity, or very vulnerable. So those are all things you probably don't want to experience in a relationship. And so again, these are, you may have a gut-to-gut cord that's connected to the person that you should be breaking up from. And this is the thing that's kind of holding you back. So we need a discard of that cord and then let it go. And so then you'll be easier to move on to a new relationship. So hopefully you gain some insight in this. Again, this is kind of like my world of the bioenergetic healing. If you were to meet with me in person, which I don't really meet with people in person, it's me just muscle testing and asking questions, and you'll be surprised. Why is my body strong? Why is my body weak? And we can do that from a distance. And so I think it's time the world knows that there's things that we don't see, but just because we can't use our 5 senses to experience doesn't mean it's not happening. And so I believe this is the future of medicine. I believe this is the future of healing. And so hopefully you gain some insight about, and maybe this helped your friend out to be like, you know what? I need to find out if I have these things. What if I do have a cord? Or what if I do have a heart wall? What if I do have these trapped emotions and I don't even, it's keeping me in the relationship that I shouldn't be in. And my wish for everyone who watches this video is that you do not stay in that relationship that's toxic. You deserve better. You deserve an amazing life. And you do yourself justice when you have your energies focused on someone who does love you, does care about you, and then you use that love to share your God-given talents with other people. And so hopefully this video served someone. Tag, share, let this word go out there, because again, I'm just kind of giving you a sneak peek of what I see when I work with all these clients. We work with 1,200 couples, and I've been seeing the same patterns over and over again. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. So hopefully this helped out. Hopefully you'll watch more of our videos, and feel free to comment below, just share your thoughts of what you think about this video. All right, take care, guys. Bye.